Hello and welcome to part 2 of the course but not course thing. I'm just kind of reading things from a book this time. But anyway, now that we've kind of gone over the basics of the grammar, it wasn't everything, of course, just really the basics. But I decided rather than continuing in that same format, I was going to go straight to the book and the material in the book. That way, I'm not having to guess or anything like that. I'm just reading it verbatim. So this way you know that it is correct for the speaker or the dialect, or in some ways idiolect, because obviously there isn't a huge range of speakers in the book, and obviously every speaker has their own way of saying things. But I thought we would look at the irregular verbs, starting with abed, which is to say, abed. The future form of abed is hed. To say would for example, u, a, I, etc. So not me, but everyone else, is herach. They would say is herachaj. And they would say is sherachaj. There isn't many entries for head for the future because I suppose when people were recording these conversations, they didn't really relay the future as much as they did the conditional, so would do, and the past, because they're often talking about things that happened rather than things that will happen. So one can assume that, for example, they will say would be heraj. Unlike regular verbs, there isn't the s at the end, so it wouldn't be heras, but it'd be heraj. In the same way, you will say is heru. What will you say is jeheru. I would say is hern. So instead of the h at the end, it becomes an n sound. This is true for pretty much all conditionals, so the would form, with me. And the word me is not used at all. Hern. As in previous parts of the course, we also have the n or chen or the nach, etc. So to say something like won't say or will not say, as in a question, is nach abed. So, for example, will they not say? You'd say nach aberaj. Won't say would be chanabed. When you want to tell one person, say it, you'd say abed. When you want to tell a group, you'd say abri. Like English, you don't need to add the pronoun to the order. You can just say abed, or if it's a group, or if you're trying to be polite, abri. Now let's look at the past. To say said, you say huach. To say not said, you'd say chaduach. This change from h to d is because originally I believe it's meant to be tuach, perhaps, and then there is a particle that goes in front of it, dot, which has disappeared entirely, but the remains of it are still there, that h, that change in the sound. So when you have questions like, did you say? It keeps its form, it'd just be nduach, and dúirt. One of the quirks of Gaelic from the east, from the Far East, that makes it sound like it's from Asia, but not that far east, is that when there is a consonant with another consonant, so for example, M and D, etc., sounds that were like J, for example, will become D. An example of this is huart me. So not huart me, but huart me. Sometimes this word is also said as hurch, but for the most part it is huarch, so it's kind of a bit of a diphthong in there, I believe, if that's the correct terminology. So didn't say, hadúirt. Did say, ndúirt. To ask someone, did you say it to him, or did you say him to him, rather, would be the closer approximation. You'd say something like, ndúirtú ríis a. Ndúirtú ríise. So we have ndúirt, did say, you ríis. This is kind of like to him, but it's more like against him. It gets used in some contexts to mean to, and also gets used to mean against. So it has both of those meanings in there, and basically you kind of have to learn the context of when to use rí, I believe. In this case, ríis is to him or to it. And then the last word in there was a, meaning him or it. So if we translate it directly, it is question, say you against him, it. To make the present continuous, so saying, I am saying, you'd say gra. So to say I am saying, you'd say hami gra. To say to someone, what did you say to him? You'd say Je huartú ríis. To say, what are you saying? You'd say Je hau gra. In other dialects, I believe the je is actually je, so it's a bit longer, but in East Perthshire Gaelic, it's just je. On top of that, you can also use gje and could, although those are less frequent than je on its own. What did you say is je huartú. To say the word that, as in the English, he said that, or he was saying that, you would say gun. And to say he was saying that, you'd say vagra gun. If you cast your minds back to some of the earlier material that we had, there was the is word. And to make the that form of is in other dialects is gur. But in East Perthshire, and also from what I've seen in Badenoch, so up in the north towards Aberdeenshire, gun, rather than gur. And to say that it is would be gunne. So now I'm just going to go over some of the words that we looked at in this audio, in this part. Head. Chanaber. Head me. Nach aberaj. Jeheru. Jeheru. Hern. Hern. Aber. Aber. Abri. Abri. Huach. Huach. Chaduach. Chaduach. And duach. And duach. Hurt me. Hurt me. Huachu. Huachu. Huacha. Huacha. Hurch. Hurch. Gra. Gra. Nduchu risha. Nduchu risha. Hamigra. Hamigra. Jehuachurish. Jehuachurish. Gun. Gun. Gunne. Gunne. Gur. Gur.